Ladies and gentlemen, it is that time of the year. It is October, which means if you're a baseball fan, it is a beautiful time of year. The full long grind of 162 games has come to an end. The regular season is officially over. It ended today, which means it's time for playoff baseball. I love October for this very reason, and this year we are famously debuting a new format for the long haul, in which instead of just one wild card game in each conference, we have a wild card round where we have the 4 seed playing the 5 and the 3 playing the 6 in each conference, as you baseball fans know, and they play each other in a mini series, first to win 2 games instead of just 1. And I really like that because in baseball there's so much randomness with just 1 game, so at least it gives you a little bit more of a sample size, a little bit more fair. And who doesn't want more playoff baseball? So we're going to do our bracket. We do this every year, going through it first round all the way to the end, every series, predicting our champion, our World Series matchup, and who wins every series. Make sure to comment your opinions as well. I'm really bad at these, but I still have fun doing them, and we're going to do it again. And maybe this is the year where we go perfecto and don't miss a single series. So who will win the 2022 World Series? This is our full bracket. Let's start with the AL because it starts from the top and it starts with a wild card round. So let's start with the first matchup, Blue Jays and Mariners, 4 versus 5 matchup. At the beginning of the year, I had the Blue Jays as my World Series representative from the AL. They have disappointed a little bit, a good amount, to be honest, and all their best players like Guerrero, Bichette, Hernandez, they've had good years, but not as good as we hoped, and they have, I think, the same record as last year. I think they won 91 games last year, so 1 game better. I thought they'd win the division. They did not. They are the home team. It is in Canada for all 3 potential games, at least 2. And they played the Mariners, and in my lifetime, I have never seen the Mariners make the playoffs. 21-year drought, the longest one in North American sports, but it's over. It's so nice to see the Mariners in the playoffs. We knew from the last couple years they were so close to making it. This is a young, exciting, fun team. I'm pretty sure the Blue Jays are favored, but you know what? There is something special about this Mariners team with the rookie sensation, J-Rod. This starting rotation, 1 through 4, is really solid. They have 4 really good starters: Castillo, Ray, Kirby, and of course Gilbert, right? So 4 really good starters, good bullpen, underrated. I just feel really good vibes from the Mariners. I think they're going to have an extra energy to them because this is their first postseason in a long time. There's just something there. And for the Blue Jays, there just hasn't been that spark, I feel like, all year. It just hasn't felt right for the Blue Jays. So I'm going to go with the Mariners to win in the mini upset in the wild card round. I'm just feeling them. The vibe's better for them. And I think they're going to win this series. I really do. I think they have better pitching than the Blue Jays. Blue Jays starting pitching, and there's some concerns there other than Manoah, Barrios had a down year, so we'll see. It'll be good. 2 young teams, good series. I will go with the Mariners to win. Then we have the Guardians and Rays, an interesting 3 versus 6 matchup. Shout out to Cleveland. I think Terry Francona is going to win Manager of the Year. They've won kind of old school. This is a pitch to contact, or this is a contact hitting team, right? Good bullpen, good starting rotation. They don't strike out much. They put the ball in play, which is well equipped for some nice playoff success, whereas the Rays are kind of limping their way into the playoffs, where I think their starting rotation's good. It's nice that Glasnow's back. McClanahan's been great most of the year. But for the most part, I think the Guardians are entering on a better note right now. I think they were the better team overall in the regular season, obviously, if the record doesn't already indicate that. And I just think that the Guardians are the better team right now. They're more well prepared for a playoff run. I like their hitting better than the Rays hitting. Of course, playoff Arozarena is a thing, but ultimately, I like the Guardians to win this series. Good bullpen, good starting pitching, good overall pitching, good hitting, not just Jose Ramirez, but Steven Kwan, these scrappy guys, Andres Jimenez, 2 young breakout players this year. I love Steven Kwan. I love guys like that have really low strikeout rates, more walks than strikeouts. They put the ball in play. Jimenez is the same. Ahmed Rosario. This is a good overall team, an underrated team that I think deserves more recognition. So that is the first round in the AL. Then we have the Mets and the Padres, maybe the best series of any of the 4 wild card series, in my opinion. Mets won 101 games, and I am still kind of in shock. I don't want to remind you, Mets fans, I'm sorry. I still can't believe they didn't win this division. They had a 10.5 game lead at some point. They don't hang on. They get swept by the Braves in the biggest series of the year, and here they are facing an 89-win Padres team that is disappointed in terms of considering what they did at the trade deadline, but still they've played pretty well coming into the playoffs. But this is very interesting. 2-game series. People think, oh, DeGrom and Scherzer, they're a great 1-2. They obviously are. But don't sleep on Darvish and Snell. That's a really good 1-2 as well. I'm a big fan of kind of picking teams that are heading into the playoffs with some good momentum. If you don't enter the playoffs with good momentum, a lot of times it's not going to go your way. And the way that the Mets kind of let this division slip away, oh man, I know it's going to be rocking in Citi Field every game, but I'm going to go, these games it's still first to just 2 wins. It's one little series. Anything can happen. I'm going to go with the Padres because, again, the Mets, the vibes from them, the fact that they had the division all year, they let it slip, and they fell out despite having Scherzer and DeGrom start in that series against the Braves when they needed it most. And other than Pete Alonso and Lindor, they're not getting a lot of slugging. Obviously, Jeff McNeil's the batting champ, and they have some really good hitting, and Citi Field's going to be great, and it's great to see the Mets in the playoffs. I just like the Padres here to kind of sneakily steal this one. I think Juan Soto is a beast in the playoffs. Machado's been great all year. Don't sleep on the rotation. Josh Hader, and I think he's figured it out, and their bullpen's been solid recently. I like the Padres to set up a NL West division battle there. So then we have the Cardinals and Phillies. I'm also happy to see the Phillies in the playoffs. They had the longest drought in the National League. Cardinals won their division running away, surprisingly, as the Brewers really struggled down the stretch. Now, in a 2-game series, keep in mind, this is the reason why I went with upsets like the Padres and the Mariners is because it's not just one game, obviously. It's a little more of a sample size, but still, first to win 2 games. All you need is 2 really good starters to potentially win those 2 games for you. And in a 2-game series, I like the Cardinals better in a 7-game series or first to win 4 best of 7 series. But in a 2-game series, when I compare the Phillies 1-2, I would way rather have Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola than Adam Wainwright and Miles Mikolas. Wainwright and Mikolas have been solid, but neither of them finished the year great. They were not as good in the second half as they were in the first half. Nola and Wheeler are 2 workhorse star-level starters that have had really good years and been really good recently. And the Phillies have better hitting than their record and team kind of suggests. They, from top to bottom, might have a better hitting order than the Cardinals. Obviously, the Cardinals, if they want success, they have to be carried by Arenado and Goldschmidt. Clearly, they're 2 best hitters, so we'll see. Obviously, the Cardinals are a very good team, but I'm going to go with the Phillies. I like their 1-2. I like the Wheeler and Nola, how they line up in this series over Wainwright and Mikolas, and I think that could be the difference for the Phillies. So, we move on to the division series. We have an Astros-Mariners AL West matchup here in the ALDS. Now, look, the Astros, I don't like them, obviously, but they're a great team. They've had maybe their best year yet. Really good season. Justin Verlander, one of the few Astros that I actually love. I'm such a big fan. What a great bounce back year he had. Tommy John surgery, 39 years old. He's going to win the Cy Young in all likelihood. Framber Valdez, absolute workhorse. Great hitting. Altuve had a great year, and a bunch of other guys. Tucker, Alvarez, of course. And this is a great team. But statistically speaking, they've been to the ALCS 5 straight years. And in baseball, that's credit to them, great credit to them. But statistically speaking, it's really hard to get to the ALCS or the CS in general every single year. You're going to get tripped up one year. One year, something bad's going to happen, and you just don't make it. That's just baseball. Many years of making the playoffs, it can be random. Things can go wrong. So, and again, I just like the Mariners. They have some magic to them. I know they don't play the Astros well, but you know what? In a monster upset, the Mariners beat the Astros and get to the ALCS. I know I'm crazy. I'm insane. I'm out of my mind. But the Astros, at some point, they're going to have a year where they fall just short. It's happened to the Dodgers. We lost to the Nationals in 2019. We lost to, I don't know, we've had some upset moments. We've had 100-plus wins, and we underachieved. It'll happen to the Astros, who got to the World Series last year at some point. 5 straight ALCSs. So this year, I'm going Mariners. I'm going unconventional. Adds to the fun. Gotta be bold sometimes. And in baseball, one of the 2-1 seeds seems to always lose in the DS every year. Go back and look at the last handful of years. A number 1 seed always gets tripped up early. Last year happened in both conferences. The Red Sox beat the number 1 Rays in the ALDS, and in the NLDS, the Giants lost to the Dodgers, obviously. So we see that kind of parity in Major League Baseball, and at least in one conference, a big-time team doesn't make it to the championship series. So I think that'll be the Astros this year. Then we have the Yankees and Guardians, 2 versus 3. Very interesting matchup. I mean, all of them are interesting, right? Is there an uninteresting matchup in the playoffs? See, the Guardians, they're slept on. And the Yankees for like this entire... If you just take the second half of the season, post-All-Star break, Yankees record, and kind of extrapolate that over 162 games, you do not have a playoff team. And we obviously know the elephant in the room. The only reason the Yankees are division champions, a 99-win team and a playoff team, is because of one historically great Aaron Judge, obviously. I love what he's done. So happy that he hit 62 homers. What a legendary season. We'll never forget. But in the playoffs, we all know this. It's a team game. And who else on the Yankees hitting-wise is even close to Aaron Judge? And Garrett Cole has been good. He broke the strikeout record. But, like, their pitching, their bullpen, their starting pitching, it hasn't been dominant. You know, there's just so many question marks. We all know that Judge has kind of carried this offense, and that doesn't go well for the playoffs. In the playoffs, it's the team game, the team that wins, that can put the ball in play, that doesn't strike out as much, that can get rallies going, that has a deep bullpen, that can have more depth in their pitching department overall. And at this point in the season, coming into the playoffs, I like the Guardians top to bottom better than the New York Yankees, and I really like the Guardians. They're scrappy, they're under the radar. I like them. So how about that, ALCS, Guardians and Mariners? There's parity in baseball, guys. I like it. I think those two teams just have something special in them, have some dark horse magic in them. They're going to make a run. Watch it. Watch it happen. Guardians and Mariners, that's my ALCS. So in the NL, Dodgers and Padres, we had this matchup in the 2020 NLDS, and you baseball fans know, especially you Dodgers fans and Padres fans know, the Dodgers own the Padres. And the Padres, nothing to sneeze at. They're still a good team, obviously, but they swept them in 2020. They're 22 games better than the Padres. This will be interesting, but the Dodgers, they own the Padres. They went 14-5 against them in the regular season. They match up well against them, and I question, people talk about the Dodgers not maybe with the whole Craig Kimbrell situation, maybe questions in their bullpen, but Craig Kimbrell's their only significant reliever that hasn't been good. Everywhere else, they're so deep. They have so many good relievers. Chris Martin, they got Vesia, they got Evan Phillips, who has had an amazing year. Yency Almonte, Blake Trinan might come back, and they move Heaney and May to the bull. This is a stacked team, and they removed Craig Kimbrell from the closer role. I just don't think the Padres can hit the Dodgers pitching as well as the Dodgers' great lineup, especially their 1-2-3 can hit the Padres pitching. So I like the Dodgers there. They own the Padres. So that brings up, you know what I'm just realizing? Well, 3 of the 4 divisional series matchups are actually between 2 teams in the same division. We have an NL East matchup between the Braves and Phillies. Phillies have had a great run, or they would be happy just to have advanced, but the Braves are a loaded team. The defending champs are even better this year. Great rotation, great bullpen, great hitting, and the Phillies, after their 1-2, who gets the Game 3 start? Essentially, who would get Game 1 of this series? Like, Ranger Suarez, it's just, this is where the question marks come in. A little bit larger of a series, first to win 3 games, a longer series. That Phillies bullpen has question marks, hitting solid, but the Braves, all around, way better team than the Phillies, in my opinion. This conference won't have as much parity. We're not going to have upsets everywhere, I think. That's rare. We got to be a little realistic. So we set up a 3rd consecutive year of having Dodgers versus the Braves. Dodgers won in 2020, Braves won in 2021. They rematch for the 3rd straight time in 2022. So the ALCS, Guardians and Mariners, who gets to the World Series in 2022? The Seattle Mariners. They do. They're the only team, I don't know if you know this, they're the only team in Major League Baseball, only franchise, that has never been to a World Series. That changes this year. They are special, I'm telling you. They have the starting pitching and the bullpen, and they have magic to them this young energy about them, just energy overall. Julio Rodriguez, such a stud, and he's healthy, thankfully, looked good when he came back a couple days ago. 4 really good starting pitchers, really good underrated bullpen, good management. You know, when they play at home, those fans are going to be rocking. They have that extra spark to them that maybe the Guardians don't have. I don't know. This would be a good series. I'd be happy to see this series. Just the merit. Every year, there's always a surprising team. Braves last year, 88 wins, get to the World Series. Nationals, 2019, wild card team, get to the World Series. It happens. Giants, 2014. Royals, 2014. It happens. Baseball has that kind of parity. The Mariners are the parity this year, epitomized. 90 and 72, 5th-seeded Mariners get to their first ever World Series to face, well, let's talk about it. 2 100-win teams, Dodgers and Braves. Braves beat the Dodgers last year despite the Dodgers having 18 more wins than the Braves, but the Braves had the home field advantage. The Dodgers had some injuries. They didn't have Kershaw, didn't have Muncy. Justin Turner hurt his hamstring in the middle of that series. It just didn't go well for the Dodgers. They were kind of gassed. This year they have more pitching depth, I think. You know, the bullpen's going to be really good. They have more depth. Their hitting's better. Obviously, Freddie Freeman's there now. It's just all around a better team for the Dodgers, as is for the Braves. But I think that little home field advantage, that motivation for the Dodgers, I think they're going to bounce back this year, and the Dodgers will represent the NL in the World Series. The Dodgers have just been the best team in baseball for the entire second half, without a question. They're number 1 in ERA, and they're number 1 in runs scored. So overall, this is the best team in baseball. And they're going to want to maybe get some revenge on the Braves after the Braves beat a team in the Dodgers that the Dodgers will say they probably should have beaten the Braves last year, since the Braves only won 88 games, and the Dodgers beat the 107-win Giants only to lose to a team that had 19 less wins than the Giants. So this is where the Dodgers get revenge. So we have a West Coast-ish kind of, West Coast World Series, Mariners and Dodgers. Now, if you've seen my previous annual playoff prediction videos, you will notice maybe a common trend in who I picked to win the World Series.
The New York Yankees lose the World Series to the LA Dodgers, and we finally break that 30-plus year playoff championship drought. It's picked the favorite.
So is it sweep?
No, I think they're going to win 4-2. I think the White Sox have a great team, but I think Dodgers are going to be really hungry. They're going to win the World Series. They're going to finally break through, hopefully, and win it all.
So yeah, the Dodgers win the World Series. They go back-to-back. They repeat.
So does that trend change in 2022? Well, it does not. The Los Angeles Dodgers win the World Series. Every year, we're good every year. We're a contender every year, obviously. The last several years, 9 straight years, or is it 10? 10 straight years of the playoffs, 9 out of 10 division titles. It's been a great run to watch as a Dodgers fan. Only 1 World Series, but we still have to, we've never won in a 162 game season, never won a full season World Series. We still have a lot to prove, and of all the teams in the past decade, this, statistically and otherwise, is the best product we have put out. This is the best team we have had, and this is the year we win the World Series. So guys, those are my playoff predictions, not biased whatsoever. I mean, the Mariners, they're definitely not my second favorite team. I definitely am not just hoping that happens, but yeah, totally objective playoff predictions. But guys, make sure to comment your opinions. Let me know, what's your playoff bracket looking like? Who's winning each matchup? Who's winning the World Series? Who's meeting in the World Series? Comment your opinions. Let me know. I'd love to hear them. Like the video if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're a baseball fan and you haven't done so already. Why not? I think you'd like the channel, hopefully. And guys, I'm so glad the playoffs are here. It's a beautiful time of year. I always say that October is the best month for sports fans because it's the only month that has baseball, football, and basketball. And baseball, the playoffs, I mean, that's probably the best event in October. So I just can't wait for another great postseason. Hope you guys are as excited as I am. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.